Hey yo, what's up guys? Okay, so we got some juicy Sonic news today. A lot of stuff, and a lot of this just came up within the last 24 to 48 hours. It's crazy. Because I was only going to report on like one thing, then it became two things, then three things, four things. Now it's a lot for a full-length video. And that's why I like doing monthly videos now, because I got a lot to talk about now instead of, making multiple videos or cutting it up, chopping it up into shorts. I know a lot of you guys prefer my videos than shorts. So yeah, we got a lot of things to talk about, from the Sonic movie franchise to the games. So let's get straight into it. You don't want to miss this video, but before I get into all these details and news, be sure to smash the like button, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Now first, let's talk about TMZ. Now, as you all know, TMZ interviewed Jason Griffiths about what he thinks about Keanu Reeves being cast as Shadow. So for those of you that have been a bit skeptical, because it hasn't been 100% confirmed by Paramount yet about Keanu Reeves. It was just, revealed by John Campia, who's a movie news reporter, as well as some other articles. But if TMZ interviewed Jason Griffiths about it, then that means it's factual. So, I'm not going to play the whole video. It's a 2-minute video. I'm sure a lot of you have seen it yet. But I like this part where Jason Griffiths talks about Shadow.
Being Keanu, he's going to bring in such huge numbers alone. Dig deep into your darkest place in your soul, and speak from there, but not evil. It's not evil. Shadow is more of an anti-hero. He's not a Dr. Robotnik or an Eggman type character. He wants the greatest good, but he comes from this place of shadows. So I think it's the biggest tip I would give is to just be yourself, Keanu.
Yeah, he really understands Shadow, and I like that. It's crazy that TMZ interviewed Jason Griffiths and not Kirk Thornton, the current voice of Shadow. I mean, Kirk's only voiced Shadow for the past 14 years, since Sonic Free Riders in 2010. Jason Griffiths hasn't voiced Shadow since 2009, Sonic and the Black Knight. That's like 15 years ago. So it's just crazy how Jason Griffiths is like a fan favorite of Shadow. He's my favorite Shadow voice as well. Sonic Rebound Episode 6, I had Evans Mardiculus do a Jason Griffiths impression for Shadow. And a lot of people thought that was actually Jason Griffiths I brought over to voice Shadow. No. But yeah, I miss Griffiths as Shadow, but I'm totally in support of Keanu Reeves. It makes more sense to get him in since he's a celebrity and he's going to bring tickets. Everybody knows him. Casuals don't know who the fuck Jason Griffiths is, But, I hope they actually bring the VAs like Jason Griffiths, Roger Craig Smith, all that stuff. I hope they bring them as cameos for Sonic Movie 3 like they did for Mario Movie when they brought Charles Martinet. It's kind of weird they haven't done that yet. Because I know that voice actors feel left out. Especially, I wonder how the VAs feel towards Colleen, or Colleen O'Shaughnessy, or Shaughnessy, I think that's how you pronounce her last name. The voice of Tails. I wonder if they get a little salty or envious about her, like Roger Craig Smith, because, he's Sonic, and he's nowhere in the movies. And Colleen, she's getting a lot more attention, a lot more fame, I know a higher paycheck, since she voices Tails not only in the games, but also the movies. So yeah, because I do remember Mike Pollock, he was a little salty when they cast Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik. This was back when, Sonic Movie 1 came out. And it's funny because it's like, Mike Pollock, I've never seen him act before, only voice act. So I don't know how they would have made it work bringing him as Dr. Robotnik. Because I've never seen him act in live action before. So yeah, but I get it. I wonder if they give Colleen, if Sega gives Colleen special treatment, or if they just treat her like they always treated her, or if the VAs feel a little jealous. One has to wonder, because it's crazy. She's getting all this attention, and I know they're not going to bring Cindy Robinson as Amy, the voice of Amy, when they do bring her. They're going to bring a celebrity. If they do bring a celeb, I hope they bring Haley Steinfeld, because she's talented, she's hot, and I think she will do a very great Amy impression. And she has a lot of experience voice acting already. She's voiced Spider-Gwen or Gwen Stacy in the Spider-Verse movies. She's also voiced, I forgot her name, but she's in Arcane, the short redhead girl who's the sister of Jinx. Sure, a lot of you League of Legends players know who that character is. I don't play League of Legends, but I loved Arcane. I cannot wait until season 2. So she's done a lot of voice acting in animation, so she would be great as Amy Rose. Now let's talk about that Knuckles show. Okay, so a lot has developed over the Knuckles show lately. Now first, the runtime. The Knuckles show is going to be, each episode is going to be around 25 to 35 minutes. So you're looking at roughly 3 to 4 hour movie cut into parts. It's only going to have 6 episodes. And you know, I've seen a lot of reviews on the Knuckles show already. It currently holds an 83% in Rotten Tomatoes right now that I'm recording this. And you know, that's great. You know, that's the highest score for a Sonic movie property, because the first 2 movies got like in the 60s. But it comes at a cost. You know, I love seeing Sonic win. I like it when he's doing well critically and financially, but at what cost? Because you know, the casuals and the general audience love the human characters. A lot of the casuals actually love the wedding subplot in Sonic Movie 2. But the fans like me was not fond of the wedding subplot. It overstayed its welcome. And the other day, last week at my workplace, you know, and I work in a hospital, but my co-workers decided to play the Sonic movies, Movie 1 and Movie 2, back to back in the, in my break room. And a lot of them were digging the human characters in Sonic Movie 1 and 2. And if I didn't know any better, I would say they actually had more fun with Movie 1, even though that's the most vanilla of the 2 and it has more humans in it. But they enjoyed it. Movie 2, like, I could tell who really enjoyed it other than me. It was the real Sonic fans, like this other guy who I'm friends with. He's a big Sonic fan like me. And I'm like, his favorite game is Sonic Heroes. He also watches Premi the Remy, which is crazy. I'm like, what? Premi has fans in real life? So it's crazy. But yeah, so Sonic, he said Sonic Heroes is the GOAT. I'm like, oh crap, I'm meeting a Premi disciple in real life. So yeah, he loved Movie 2. He thought it was better. But I'm talking about the casuals who are not big Sonic fans. They preferred Movie 1. So when you're thinking about Paramount, they're going to cater to the general audience more. You know, the people that makes them more money. They're still going to pay attention to the fans, because if it wasn't for us, the fans, they would have flopped. Because the ugly Sonic movie design, is us that harassed Paramount to change it. So they're going to throw the fans a bone every now and then, like, hey, you see this callback? You see this callback? But overall, they're going to cater to the general audience, because that's where the scores are and that's where the money is, unfortunately. But first, this person, Toby Asher, he talked about how the Knuckles show expands on Sonic franchise and the importance of Gunn's experiments. Now this is pretty lengthy, a lot of stuff to read, so I'm going to try to make it short. He says one of the things that we really thought was great and we continue to talk about a lot is how the next entity in the franchise is affected from the last entity. For example, Sonic 1 happened, and there was this huge action sequence at the end of Sonic 1 in San Francisco, and half of San Francisco was destroyed. So we really wanted to tell the story in Sonic 2 of the emergence of Gunn, which is an organization that pretty much has been created because of the fact that Sonic ripped apart San Francisco. And there has to be a reaction in a grounded world to that. So what came about in Knuckles, which is really interesting, is a further emergence of Gunn. We sort of established in the first movie that Sonic was running around this planet, leaving quills everywhere, and now Sonic and Knuckles have had this massive global fight in Sonic 2, and there's Echidna quills and Sonic quills all over the place. They dropped rings all over the place. So we loved introducing this idea that GUN, or Gun, is going around and they're grabbing these things because these quills are really powerful. And these rings do things that are totally otherworldly, and that they're starting to experiment on them. So that was one of the cool things that we really loved about the Knuckles show, is we got to build this tech within the mythology of what we built in Sonic 1 and Sonic 2. Essentially, we created these mechs fists that are quill powered that allows Kid Cudi to basically punch as hard as Knuckles. We have the ring gun, which allows the agents to shoot rings and sort of capture people at their will. All of that was really interesting to us because it helped us build out the mythology of what's happening after the movie. I think as we go forward in this franchise, it's usually the first question we ask as we're developing the movies is, if this event happened in the previous movie, what would be the consequences of that? How would the world change? And it's a really fun way to develop stories on our end, because it kind of creates something that is this really, in a lot of ways, grounded, ever-expanding world. And as someone who grew up as a fan of a lot of different franchises and different pieces of IP, my favorite ones were always the ones where they kind of did that, which was the comic book Marvel universe. An incident happens, then the reaction to the incident is the next story. So the fact that we get to do that kind of giant world building in the Sonic franchise is awesome. Yeah, that is awesome, you know, but I mean, that's not really the thing that the MCU started in this, you know, in the shared universe. Just movies that pay attention to continuity. They do that in any franchise, you know? I mean, look at the Harry Potter movies. They always built on each other. But yeah, let's read some of these reviews because it's crazy because like not even the negative reviews are bashing the show like this sucks. Sonic was never good. But yeah, for instance, Kotaku made a review. I'm not going to read the whole review, but one excerpt that I want to read. They're saying, I imagine that Elba's time and the process of animating Knuckles are both expensive, but also importantly, the show has essentially been positioned as an MCU style play for the beginnings of an extended universe beyond the films. His severe lack of screen time suggests that the live-action universe may not have its priorities in order if it's willing to spend more time with its less compelling human characters than the one the show is named after. Here's hoping Sonic the Hedgehog 3 better manages the time between its anthropomorphic characters and the human ones nobody's buying tickets to see. Yeah, Kotaku calculated the amount of screen time Knuckles has in the show. Basically, it's 44%. Knuckles is only in his show 44%. That's less than half of the runtime of the show. They said the show is about, I think, 172 minutes. I have to look at that again, but I think it's about 3-ish hours. And Knuckles is only in it for like 70 something minutes. It is crazy. I'm going to post that here. But yeah, when you add up, they're saying there's some episodes where he's not even in them, except the very end. And that's crazy. So if you guys were worried that this would be the Wade show and Knuckles, yeah, that's exactly what it is. But, you know, I'm loving all the constructive criticism that the Knuckles show is getting from the critics. It's not even bashing. You can see that these critics genuinely love the Sonic movie franchise. They just want Paramount to do better. And that's good, man. I really want Paramount to do better. I'm going to see how this Knuckles show is. You know, I didn't have any high expectations for it anyways. It's movie 3 that I'm having high expectations for. They better not disappoint me with that. You know, this person broke it down really nicely. He's saying that these Sonic movies aren't really about Sonic and characters. They're about the humans featuring the Sonic characters. First movie is about Tom working as a small town cop and wanting to move to San Francisco, but Sonic convinces him not to. Second movie is about Rachel's wedding and her fiance Randall being a gun agent. And the Knuckles series is about Knuckles mentoring Wade as his bowling coach. And basically, if we're following this pattern, the third movie is going to be about Maria getting shot and Shadow coping with the loss. I'm cool with that though. The humans always play more of a role in adventure games and Shadow the Hedgehog, so they just need to do it right, and I'll be cool with it. But you know, it is crazy though that the Sonic movies, basically all of them and the Knuckles show, has always been coming out when another movie comes out, and that movie is always worse and terrible. So the Sonic IP ends up destroying it. Think about it. Sonic Movie 1 came out when Birds of Prey came out. Birds of Prey did horrible. Movie 1 beat Birds of Prey in the box office. Sonic Movie 2 came out with Morbius. It beat Morbius in the box office. Now the Knuckles show is coming out, I think, the same day as well as Velma Season 2. Velma is definitely going to bomb. For those of you thinking that it's going to do great because people are going to hate watch it again, think again. Look at the Marvels. Captain Marvel did great. It got over $1 billion. Nobody showed up for the sequel, The Marvels. It is the lowest grossing MCU film ever, even lower than The Incredible Hulk. So yeah, people are not going to watch Velma as much as you think they are. And so Sonic Movie 3, that's going to come out the same day as Mufasa, The Lion King. Now, say what you want about Disney and their, you know, shameless live action remakes, but Mufasa is a prequel. And The Lion King got over $1 billion, the remake. That made way more money than even the original Lion King. So Mufasa, it might do well. It might do as good as The Lion King. Now, Mufasa does not have any nostalgia to bank on because it's an original movie. It's a prequel. It's not based. It's not a remake of anything. So we'll see how it does. But I think Sonic Movie 3 is going to meet its match with Mufasa. This is going to be the first time a Sonic movie is up against a Disney film. So if Movie 3 makes more money than a Disney film, wow. People are going to start really taking the Sonic movie, or just Sonic in general, more seriously. So we shall see. We shall see. But I love this meme right here. It's hilarious, because that's exactly what's been happening. But yeah, you guys got the gist of the reviewers. Even the ones that are praising it, they still give the same criticisms, that the humans take up too much of the screen time. A lot of them saying it's like Kangaroo Jack. And I've never seen Kangaroo Jack, but apparently a lot of people don't like that movie because it's barely about Kangaroo Jack and more about the humans. I think I remember hearing that. And they're saying the Knuckles show reminds them of Kangaroo Jack. That's not good. You know, the Sonic movies were able to strike a balance between Sonic and his friends and the humans. So they need to do that. I hope they don't make this mistake again, especially for movie 3, because that would be terrible. But yeah, also Paramount might be making a Sonic animated film next. Maybe it's going to be after Sonic movie 3, maybe after Sonic movie 4. So like I said, all hope is not lost when it comes to the humans. I mean, look at Paramount right now. They're coming out with Transformers 1, and that is a CGI animated film, complete, no humans. And the Transformers franchise has been going on with Paramount since 2007. That was 17 years ago, and I know a lot of Transformers fans have complained that, you know, they like the movies, it's all right. Some worse than others, like Revenge of the Fallen, but they can't stand the humans. Besides Shia LaBeouf, they wish it focused more on the Transformers. And they're finally getting that. So Paramount does listen. And I got an insider source saying that Paramount is planning on making an animated Sonic film. Sega's going to be heavily involved in that one too. I think they might even use Marza Studios. Like I said, these are reportedly news, and if you hear reportedly, that means it hasn't been 100% proven yet. It's just hardcore speculation and rumors from within the studio and insider information. But yeah, it's my old insider who gave me a lot of information about Sonic Frontiers back then. He's saying that that animated movie I told you about ages ago is real. He said he doesn't know when it's coming out. He just knows that it exists. It's coming out. He doesn't know if it's going to be in theaters or whatever, but it's going to be a full-length movie, not a short like those animated shorts Sega posts on their YouTube channel. It's going to be a real movie. I think Paramount is going to be behind it. It's with Paramount. And after Transformers 1, I totally believe this rumor, because if Transformers 1 didn't exist, I wouldn't believe it. But you know, you can only make the Sonic movies with the humans so many times before it's not fresh anymore. I mean, after movie 3, what's next? Movie 4 with Silver? And a couple weeks ago, I don't know who released it, but it was like a list, like a mandate list of the movies or the games that Sega allowed Paramount to adapt into movies. And I mean, obviously the classic Sonic 1, 2, 3 Knuckles CD, Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. I don't think it was Shadow the Hedgehog, but Sonic 06, and no Sonic Unleashed, Sonic Colors. So actually Paramount does not have a wide option. Oh yeah, also Sonic Riders. But yeah, Paramount doesn't have a huge variety of choices to choose from, you know. And Sonic 06 is definitely going to be adapted, because humans also play a big important role in that. But when it comes to like Sonic Heroes or Sonic Colors, humans aren't important in that at all. So maybe they're saving that for an animated version of the film, who knows. So yeah, but I definitely see them making a Sonic movie 4 with Silver and Soliana, Princess Elise. And then after that, I don't know, maybe we're going to go to animation. And you know, the actors can only do this for so long before they get tired and want to do other things, especially Jim Carrey. You know, he's been talking about retiring since after Sonic movie 2. I'm sure they really gave him a big ass check to come back for movie 3, but I'm pretty sure movie 3 is going to be his last. So yeah. And hey, look, if they make it animated, they can actually bring back the voice actors like Mike Pollock to voice Eggman, because no one else can do it better. But all right, enough talk about the Sonic movies. Let's talk about the games. Now, as you all know, Sonic and Shadow, or Sonic X Shadow Generations, is rated E10, which is going to be great because we're going to see Maria Robotnik die twice this year. I don't know, but I like that. You know, even if a Sonic game is good or bad, anytime it's rated E10, there's always going to be some hype shit. You know, so I like that. I like that it's not rated E. It's going to be E10, just like Frontiers. And, you know, Sega actually made a tweet a while ago asking, where is it? Well, they made a tweet saying that, do you want to see Shadow playable, I think in every game or whatever? Or do you like playing as Shadow? And a lot of people were like, hell yeah. I'm pretty sure after Sonic X Shadow Generations, we are going to see Shadow playable in every single major Sonic game. And I'm here for that. Shadow should be the easiest character to play as, since he plays like Sonic. He just, you know, skates instead of runs, and he has chaos powers. But yeah, now here's some big juicy game news. Now, a lot of you have heard that obviously Kishimoto is working on Sonic Frontiers 2. Before I continue, we all should know that this game will not be called Sonic Frontiers 2. Most likely, Sega does not like to do sequels anymore, or call things sequels, because of expectations. Sonic Frontiers 2 is a code name, project name, just like Sonic Frontiers with Sonic Rangers and Sonic Rose. Now, I'm going to talk about Sonic Rose one last time because the last time I mentioned about Sonic Rose was 2022 when I reviewed Frontiers. I know there's still some people talking shit on Twitter as usual, saying that, oh, Gamer Guy made up the whole Sonic Rose because you guys don't know how to listen. You know, you just don't pay attention. Now, Sonic Rose was not an official project code name from Sega. It was Sonic Rangers. It was the playtesters that nicknamed it Sonic Rose. The reason why they nicknamed it Sonic Rose was because when they play tested Sonic Frontiers, Sega only gave them a portion of the beginning. They didn't give them the whole game. They gave them a portion, which you can play for several hours. And in that portion, which is Kronos Island, you only see Amy. So you only play Sonic and Amy. Now, mind you, they're play testing, so they're not seeing any cutscenes, none of that shit. That's all later, you know, in production. So they're just playing as Sonic and interacting with Tails. So the play testers, whether they were casuals or Sonic fans, were wondering, Amy has a lot to do with this game, so they called it Sonic Rose for short. The play testers. And they were like, yo, Amy is going to be very important in this game. They had no clue about Tails or Knuckles, because why would Sega spoil them about that? You know, I mean, they were play testing. They were just play testing Kronos. And as we remember from a lot of the leaks back then in 2020 and early 2021, a lot of them just played in the grassy Kronos. They didn't play Ares and that until much later. So that's why they gave it the Sonic Rose titles. Not because of Tsunami and stuff. And even then, there were cut lines in the game where Sonic confessed his love with Amy. I'm going to run that back one more time for those of you in denial.
Wish we were sharing an umbrella, Amy. Amy, I should have made up my mind sooner.
You see what I mean? So yeah, that's why it was called Sonic Rose. Now, I don't want to repeat this again. That's why it was Sonic Rose. But the code name was Sonic Rangers from Sega, because they knew the full story. Now, another insider gave me some information, more information that a lot of people do not know about what Kishimoto is trying to cook. Now, as we know, Kishimoto is not in charge of Sonic X Shadow Generations. He's not doing that. He's busy working on the follow-up to Sonic Frontiers. So this sounds very promising, and yeah, we should let Kishimoto cook. Now, this person says, and I'm going to screenshot it, says, so the scoop is that Kishimoto took a lot of shit to heart. As you all know, Kishimoto had a Twitter. He was taking a lot of feedback, and he implemented a lot of the feedback as much as he could in the Final Horizon. Now, for starters, he's dissatisfied with Frontier's story in English and feels like the writers over here don't fully grasp the characters due to the differing writing philosophies, which they don't understand the Eastern roots of Sonic, so he's pushing for more Japanese writers to be involved in Sonic stories going forward. This is sparked by a lot of the critiques he's seen online about Ian Flynn's writing. Now, I don't know how much of that I believe, because we all wanted Ian Flynn back to write the Sonic games, and he did in Frontiers. Now, I know a lot of people tried turning on him because of how he wrote them. You know, people always want something, then they turn on it, but I don't think they're getting rid of Ian Flynn at all. But we'll see. I do think the Japanese writers will be way more involved. Then he also is looking into switching up the gameplay by ditching the boost and going back to physics. He has been playing Rolling Rascal to get a better understanding of it. That's cool. He also resents Sonic Unleashed because he feels like that game put a curse on the dev team due to how insufficient the boost is to develop for it. That's crazy. Maybe that's why Sega has no intention of remastering Sonic Unleashed. But yeah, I can understand, because besides Unleashed, Generations is the only game that perfected the boost gameplay. Since then, the boost has not been the strong point of Sonic gameplay. And finally, he wants to change up Sonic's model and animations to be more fluid, dynamic, and overall higher quality than the last decade. He's also pushing for a new art style for Sonic, which is sparked by the critiques he's seen online. As of right now, he's already working on the next mainline 3D Sonic game and remedying a lot of critiques in that. He's taking them very seriously. With that said, he won't be involved with Sonic X Shadow Generations, like I said before. I got this info from someone who I won't name, but they talked to Sega devs who work for and know Kishimoto on LinkedIn, and this is how it was told to me. So essentially, a lot of 2000 Sonic fans about to be extremely satisfied. You can probably see some of these changes already, like with the animation in Shadow Generations being way better than the last decade, and that new render we just got for Sonic's anniversary this year. So yeah, this I'm going to take with a grain of salt, but a lot of it is promising, and we do know Kishimoto is going to cook. That's why I never turned on Kishimoto. I never hated on him too much, even though, you know, he directed a lot of the mid-Sonic games like Forces, Lost World, even the storybook games. A lot of people loved Black Knight and the story. He did Colors for episode 2, but you know, the one thing I loved about Kishimoto is that he admitted that 3D Sonic isn't at the level of 3D Mario yet, and he wants to be the one to make it that level and surpass it. That was like, yo, that's great. And I know that angered a lot of Sonic fans because they're like, what? You're saying 3D Sonic's not as good as 3D Mario? Like, yo, you Sonic fans love to be delusional and cope. But yes, 3D Sonic is not at the level of 3D Mario at all, not even half. Look at Odyssey. Have we ever gotten a Sonic 3D game at the level of Mario Odyssey? Hell no. Not even Sonic Generations. So I am excited for that. And yeah, I want Kishimoto to cook, because I know he can cook better than Yuji Naka now. Yuji Naka lost his touch. Plus he's in jail. You know, that's what I want, because a lot of Sonic fans don't like any type of criticism to the Sonic franchise. They'll even go out their way to complain about Sonic tubers like Frem and me, even though I don't really criticize. I mean, I don't hate on Sonic games, or I don't bash. I don't like talking about Sonic games that I don't like. That's why I haven't talked about Sonic Superstars, because I don't want to talk about something I don't care for or don't like. I don't care if you like Superstars. I did not. It was nothing close to Mania. And this is not like the days of Sonic Forces where it bummed me out. So I just don't want to talk about the negatives. I want to focus on the positives. But you know, it's funny how I saw one person on Twitter who was criticizing Sonic tubers for always being negative and acting like they know Sonic better than Sega. And then they brought up Scott the Woz, saying that they support Scott the Woz. But there's a video where Scott the Woz criticizes Sonic Colors for being too Mario-esque. And that's not a good thing. So basically in that video, Scott the Woz is portraying that he knows Sonic more than Sega, but a lot of people were cool with that because it's Scott the Woz. It's just the hypocrisy with the Sonic fan base is funny, because let a Sonic tuber say that, everyone is going to jump on him. But yeah, it's crazy that even though, you know, I'm not on YouTube much anymore, I don't post a lot, I'm still on everyone's minds. People can't wait until I make another video so they can talk about it, either good or bad. That's the power of my channel, man. That's the power of my influence, and that's great. I appreciate all of you, the fans and the haters. What do you guys think about all this news? Let me know down in the comments below, because it was a lot that I had to talk about. My voice is getting sore, but that's what happens when you make a video once a month. And also, don't worry, I'm still working on Sonic Rebound. Episode 7 is going to be awesome. I am aiming for it to be even better than Sonic Frontiers Prologue Divergence. And I really love, that's my favorite animated short from Sega, because they use powerhouse animation. So yeah, this is the biggest team I've had for a Sonic Rebound episode yet. So yeah, I hope it pays off. But yeah, guys, that's all I have for now. So take care. And until next time, I'm out.